What's up, guys? Drift Travis here, and I am with Dean Richard Suss, aka Friendzoned, Balam Vargas, the master of Balam, and then we have a and Richard Issa's here, fresh, but his mic's not really working. And yeah, he is. So now we have our very, very special guest. Say hello to Matt Frank. And Jaguar died.
And someone died.
So this is very exciting having Matt Frank. We were fangirling when he joined this hangout. We were just like, yes. So yeah. So I guess the first thing to talk about is how's Rules of Earth going? I guess.
Well, can't really complain. I mean, I finished. I had mentioned this earlier, but I finished issue 10 yesterday. My ink's on issue 10, so it's all drawn. Priscilla Stramontano is coloring it right now, and I just got the script for issue 11 today from Chris Mowry, and I'm gonna start working on that really, really soon, probably tonight.
So is it tough to draw panel by panel? Because do they fill in the script, like the battles, how they're going to go out, or do you just like plan that ahead?
That actually is part of the script. That's how comic book scripts are written. It's it goes panel 1, well, it goes page 1, panel 1, a description of the panel, and then the dialogue or the captions or the breakdown or however whatever else goes into the panel. Personally, if you have a really good script, it's not super difficult. I mean, there are challenges to it, like keeping consistent character designs. Like that's something that because the book was we kind of hit the ground running with the book, so I didn't really have time to come up with refined character designs, which is why sometimes the Seeker uniforms, the Seeker gear, sometimes shifts a little wildly from issue to issue. Like the helmet will be somewhat differently structured, and that's because I'm having to go back and look at my own art from those issues to try to use that as a reference. And since you draw things a little differently each time you draw it, it becomes a little difficult. Other than that, the book is going well. IDW is really happy with it. We aren't selling as much as the previous issues, but we are the most consistent book. We haven't had any major drop-offs or anything. So the fan base is there, the fan base likes it, and that's what's important. Yeah,
so has IDW ever said no to a panel that you've drawn, or have they kept them all?
IDW is actually pretty lenient, like IDW themselves. What is more important is what Toho says, because Toho has final approval over everything. So as a result, if something isn't matched up for them, or if they see something that they think is inconsistent with a character or a design or something, they'll be the first ones to say something about it. So IDW not so much, but Toho, every now and then something will come up and they'll be like, well, this needs to be changed, or this doesn't really work, or what have you.
Yeah. Now, is Rules of Earth, I don't really know this, but is Rules of Earth the #1 Godzilla comic from IDW, or no?
The #1 most best-selling Godzilla comic from IDW was Kingdom of Monsters, specifically issue 1 of Kingdom of Monsters.
Oh, God.
God. Well, that's largely thanks to the big Stomp cover promotion, which is when they brought me in. That was the first thing I did for them, was the big issue 1 cover promotion. And that, I think that was a really great promotion, and I could see why it got people excited, but then there was unfortunately a pretty drastic drop-off after that.
Yeah, this is personal. There's nothing against. I have nothing against IDW or you. It's just I felt Kingdom of Monsters was really bad because they changed a lot of things, like how when he first appears, he already looks like regular Godzilla, and the biggest one is how he eats children.
Well, I actually think that those things are kind of superficial. Like he doesn't really eat the kids. They just were in the wrong place at the wrong time. And the same, and like, I actually think it's kind of interesting, the idea that they just outright hit him with a nuke in the first issue. I thought that was actually kind of bold. It was something that, although it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because Japan has a no nuclear policy. Well, first off, they don't have first strike capabilities, and secondly, there are no nuclear weapons in the Japanese arsenal. It's kind of the point of several Godzilla movies, like 1985, Return of Godzilla, 1984, whatever. They say we will never use nuclear weapons because then we would wind up destroying our own country.
And the Russians.
But I don't know. I mean, the general thing about where was I going with this? I think that the problem is I'm rambling, but here's the problem. Toho kind of says that you can't really show where the monsters come from. The monsters have to be mysterious. They have to be, like, for example, you can't literally say that Biollante was bioengineered. She just has to be Biollante.
So
it's a very interesting thing, and it kind of just is in line with them wanting to keep the monsters as these mysterious forces of nature.
So that's like in sorry to interrupt you, but so for example, Gigan in #1, how he just busts out of the canyon. Because I was confused. Where did he come from exactly?
There actually was a precedent for Gigan because he was in some of the later issues of History's Greatest Monster, which is the title for the ongoing that came before it, the one by Simon Gabe and I'm trying to remember his first name, but Jansky, or was it no? Szynski and Gain, that their previous ongoing. Gigan was in that, and he escaped the battle that he was having with I think Rodan and Anguirus, and then our explanation was that he was hiding out, and the Cryog, then the aliens in Rulers of Earth then found him.
So that's because I haven't read History's Greatest Monster yet. So Kiryu was in that book, from what I understand.
No, Kiryu was in that book.
All right, because I like Kiryu a lot, as you can tell.
Yeah, he's in that book. Kiryu is also in the phenomenal Half-Century War.
Oh, Dean has a lot to say about Half-Century War, don't you, Dean?
I didn't like it.
Oh, how do you not like that? That was amazing.
It was.
I don't know. It was a miniseries, but it felt a little too rushed to me. I know it was a miniseries, but it felt a little too rushed.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's basically the problem is you're trying to tell a 50-year story in the course of
5 books.
4 or 5 issues. It's kind of
That was my one problem too.
I would agree with that.
Now, Matt, this is like a stretch for a question, but do you have any idea when the final issue of Rules of Earth is? Like, which one?
Well, at the moment, we're still set for 12. We're actually all trying to figure out exactly what to do at this point. But I honestly can't comment on it because we're still a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on that we're trying to figure out. So
I have a suggestion. Oh, me.
Yes, oh my gosh.
All right. Please suggest this to IDW. Come on. Since the aliens have the cells of Godzilla, and if King Ghidorah does join in, can they please make Bagan from Super Godzilla? Please. I'm like begging for it, because in Super Godzilla, he's created by the cells.
Not to interrupt you, but here's the thing. I really hate to say this. I don't think Bagan is ever going to happen. I really don't.
Told you, Rick.
Shut up, Dean.
I know. Trust me. I would like for Bagan to actually be in something.
I need to.
The problem is that it's kind of an outdated concept. I mean, they basically broke Bagan down into 2 characters. They split him into 2 characters. They made Batra and Destroyer. So Batra has Bagan's origin, and Destroyer has most of